So Evolve Foods is a plant-based food tech startup from Bangalore, and he co-founded this with his co-founder Romaroy Chowdhury. Evolve aims to solve the issue of protein deficiency through its versatile, ready-to-cook, and delicious plant-based ingredients, and these can be incorporated in a wide array of cuisines and dishes. The brand focuses on creating innovative offerings that fit into people's cooking habits and appeal to vegetarians and non-vegetarians alike. So if you could give him a round of applause again.
Okay, next we have Guru. Guru Neelakanandan heads the digital department at Hello Tempeh, a startup that has introduced tempeh, a plant-based protein in the modern Indian kitchen. Having been with them since day zero, he's had the best seat in the house to witness the changing trends in the plant-based food industry. His expertise lies in digital marketing, business strategy, and operations. We're here. Welcome, Guru, to our panel.
Next up, representing the plant-based milk industry, we have Mr. Ankush Jamdagni. So, yeah, please, give him a round of applause. He's the co-founder and CEO of OT. He's an engineer from NIT Silatkal and an HR master from TIS Mumbai.
And lastly, we have Vaibhav Bhandari, who will also be the moderator at today's panel. Vaibhav Bhandari is currently the founder and CEO of Supply 6. He has an MSc International graduate from Warwick Business School. Vaibhav's mission with Supply 6 is to make nutrition accessible for individuals who are always on the go. Their flagship product is a ready-to-drink meal for people who are on the go. As a CEO, his responsibilities include building long-term strategy, cash flow management, overlooking strategic partnerships, and resource allocations. Let's give a round of applause to Vaibhav Bhandari.
So with Supply 6, we are actually trying to make nutrition accessible for people on the go. The entire product that we actually tried to build was to actually be a meal that you could have in under 30 seconds. Supply 6 essentially means supplying the 6 essential nutrients that your body requires. So every Supply 6 that you have gives you about 25% of your daily nutrients. So this was for an urban individual who's actually pressed for time, does not have a lot of time to either cook, maybe doesn't know how to cook, and is always juggling between daily chores of life. So that's a bit about Supply 6. And
OT is an plant-based milk brand, and we also make millet milk. Our USP has been to use slightly different ingredients than the other brands that are in the market. Our oat milk and our millet milk are our hero products, which is the plain unsweetened version. We have a third variant, which is the chocolate oat milk. The reason why it's a little different is it's stevia based. There is no sugar added in any of our products. There are no preservatives, no chemicals, and we have made a deliberate attempt to use something like a low alluric acid rapeseed oil. Typically, any oat milk that you find off the shelf has canola oil or rapeseed oil, which is, as Nidhi ma'am said, is pretty bad for you. So if you have, I know that low alluric acid rapeseed oil is also not the best out there. Probably the best is an MCT, a coconut oil MCT. But of the available options, it is a healthier option. We use Himalayan pink salt instead of plain salt. We use citrus fiber to give a creamy, tasty finish. And millet milk is something we are focused on because India is the land where millets grow. It's indigenous to us, and we are consuming oat milk now, which is a European product. So while we wanted to bring in the flavors of Europe and what's happening around the world, it's trendy to drink oat milk now. So we focused to get a little bit of global and a little bit of local. And chocolate is everybody's favorite. Very rare people would not like chocolate. So making it stevia based gives that grab and go appeal. And yeah, we try to keep it simple. We have not claimed too many things. It's a drink which is good for your health as long as you're not having dairy. It's a drink which is sustainable for the planet. So that's why our tagline is make the tastier choice guilt-free. So you don't have the guilt of bad health or contributing to carbon footprint and climate change. So that's OT, and it's an OT awesome.
Yeah, at Hello Tempeh for us, it all started not with a product but with an insight, which was basically vegetarians, vegans and non-vegetarians, especially in a country like India, would like more options for protein, better if these options are more sustainable, especially given, every day you read dairy, like you're constantly eliminating options, right? Don't eat meat, don't eat dairy. So what do you eat for protein? And even your regular vegetarian who does, we spoke to a lot of them and we realized that there is a growing awareness around the need to consume protein. It's no longer just for the gym. My 60-year-old mom talks about protein. My 5-year-old niece talks about protein. So people understand the need to get protein in your daily meals. And once in your head you've told yourself, hey, I want protein on every meal, quickly you realize that, hey, more options might be nicer to keep this going. And we felt, so this was this protein gap that we thought there was an opportunity to bridge, and we felt Tempeh did it really, really well. We came across Tempeh, not something, we invented it, been around for 800 years basically. And we said, oh, we feel there's a fit here, it's quite versatile, sustainable inside and out, it's a whole food. So we said, hey, there's an opportunity here to position it as just another normal protein, vegetarian protein. We try 10,000 things. This could be one other thing that you try, and if it works, add it into your diet. Nobody's asking you to stop anything else. You do you, but maybe give this a shot as well. So that's how we started.
Evolved Foods is a plant-based, Bangalore-based plant protein company. To the market, what we have brought is just a single product at this moment. We have a few more that are in development. Our focus is to make your every meal protein sufficient. So the first product that we have brought to market is called Evolved Plant Meat. And this plant-based meat is made of soy, rice protein, and coconut as fat, not palm oil, not any other heavily unwanted oils. This product, the specialty is that it is a whole muscle texture that people get to experience, experiment with, and it was developed for Indian cuisine. So most of the products that you will see in the market plant-based, you will see minced texture and application specific, which will be like burger patties, nuggets. You can make a couple of dishes with that, but they are specialist products, so to speak, application specific. But our product is more like an all-rounder. It has been cooked in more than 150 dishes, Indian dishes as well as global. It was between 2013 to 2016. We got to try a lot of plant-based meat. For me, it was protein. For her, she was just enjoying the experience without having to kill any animal. When we came back to India 2017, one of the days we were stuck in traffic for almost 5 hours. It was that nostalgic conversation. In the balcony, we said, "Chalo, order karte hain," something like this. Looked into Swiggy, Zomato, that was our starting point. Next 2 months went into going into different premium modern trade avenues, all kinds of places. But there was jackfruit, there was soya chop. Beyond that, nothing else that we could find. So that's when we started something called House of Ceylon. It was a restaurant in Indiranagar. The idea was we will sit with people, understand what will make them buy something like this, because Impossible was already globally, they were drawing all kinds of investors. Beyond Meat was very popular, corn was coming up. So in India, with such a big market, how come none of them had entered? That was the question mark. So we thought we will develop it together. GFI was, had they been there, I guess we may not have had to go through that journey. But I think it was wonderful. We served about 6,000 plus people to understand what India means. And what we believed was, if it can get into their daily cuisine without much change, then that is what India would be. And protein deficiency was something that we really saw as a major, major problem for India.
It was me and Siddharth, who was one of the founders as well. Personal family members were going through certain health issues for which they had to cut down on dairy, cut down on meat, and you literally feel it, right? Like there's no options out there once you take all these out. But that was the time when, like I said, Impossible, Beyond, all of these people were making a lot of noise, and we knew that protein was a gap, especially for vegetarians and vegans. But the more we got into it, the more we realized that, hey, why is plant-based meat becoming synonymous with plant-based food? Now, if you go tell anybody just the word plant-based, due to all the marketing dollars that has gone behind it, you imagine a burger patty. right? But and we said, hey, that world is so big. There are so many niches in there, and there was so many positions in there. Everybody, all everybody doesn't have to line up to like. I'm saying that also has a position. I'm not saying there is a meat eater who needs. Who misses the taste of meat, but there's also a vegetarian who doesn't want to know what chicken tastes like, honestly.
Like you can't make chai with soy milk and still enjoy it, like a cutting chai or coffee and a lot of smoothies. So unless you are really a fitness fanatic, you would still end up having dairy. Only when you know what happens to your triglyceride levels, only when you know what happens to your LDL, or even something as simple as longevity. How is it going to affect your longevity? You'll switch immediately. And the dairy we are drinking is not the free range milk. I mean, if it was free range milk, I'll still give it to you because maybe that's cruelty free. Maybe the cow had grass fed, open grazing grass and gave milk naturally, and we didn't, let's say, steal away the milk from the calf. But that's less than 1% of all food products out there. The free range or the grass fed beef or grass fed milk. So yeah, oat milk made sense, and millet milk came into the picture because we wanted to do something which is patriotic. Also, there's an Indian angle to it because oat milk is completely an outside product. We don't grow oats in India. India is not a land where we grow oats. So that was one, and of course, I wanted my daughter to see the world the way I see it right now. I don't want her to be in a world where she doesn't know what a great forest is about, or a wildlife safari is about, or what a lake is like, which is not dirty, or a simple nice rain which doesn't end up Belandur drowning, right? So it's all around us, climate change, just that we are all in denial of so many sorts. So I wanted my daughter when she grows up in 20 years to actually be able to eat that mud and do all kind of crazy things that we did in our childhood. That was one strong motivation, just sustainability. Of course, health was there. The consequence is animal welfare. When you add these two, the end product is you end up being taking a kinder choice. So yeah, I think it became an easy thing to start off with the values being aligned. I think it becomes easier to do. So it was like I think Nidhi ma'am said, it's just love what you do. Don't chase behind what you love. So I think we all three of us started loving what we did. There's one guy who's food technology, so he loves to do that. There's one guy who's completely into operations, he loves doing that. And then there's me who lives the values of our brand and trying to make sure that there's awareness. As long as people are switching to non-dairy, I'm happy. It doesn't have to be OT. It's non-dairy is cool.
Great. I think I like your quote, like Dhanda with an impact. So, like a lot of us want to be in that sphere where we are also trying to maybe contribute towards the planet. And I think, yeah, that's a great thing. So, let me talk about my journey with Supply 6. As in Warwick, when I actually had the idea for Supply 6, I was a terrible cook, did not know what to eat in the mornings, and my lectures were in the first half of the day. So I used to mix up a lot of different ingredients to actually make it into a smoothie because yeah, no time. And I used to actually carry my smoothie to my class because that was the only time I could maybe have my smoothie. Did this for a couple of months, 3, 4 months, and then all my friends used to be like, okay, you're mixing so many ingredients, you're mixing dry fruits, veggies, etc. Why don't you try a brand that they were actually consuming there? So it's called Yule. So Yule was actually doing tremendous work at that time to solve the convenience nutrition problem. So ordered a bunch of packets, loved their product, and loved the way they were actually trying to solve a very particular problem, not for the gym goers alone, but for people who were actually busy with their lifestyles, the non-gym goers as well. So compared it back to what it was back home in India at that time, nutrition was very contextual, right? People used to have it only after maybe a gym workout. It was mainly a protein shake that you need only if you want to build muscles after your workout. So we actually partly wanted to change that. We wanted to make healthy nutrition accessible for people who aren't gymming maybe and are just trying to fill a void in their diet. And when we actually started doing research, we understood that 1 out of 3 urban individuals in India actually skip their breakfast, and that could be because of multiple reasons. But yeah, that was one strong aspect that we thought we could work on and actually contribute something in that particular space and solve that problem. So then we thought, how do we make it much more wholesome and not make people think that it's a supplement, which again had a very bad taboo in earlier days. Now I think it's significantly gotten better. So what does wholesome mean? We wanted to actually make all these six nutrients that your body requires on a daily basis accessible in one particular packet. It could be any format, anything that we would want to launch, but it would have to have all these nutrients because it was solving a very major problem of a major meal for you. So now, after lots of iterations, we actually came back, spoke to tons of people. It took us almost about 8 to 9 months to develop our product because we were clear we wanted to make our product with ingredients that are available around us. We did not want to actually go far away because understanding a newer product, we were trying to create a category, and if people do not have a connect with what you're doing or what ingredients you're using, it becomes significantly more difficult. And I'm lactose intolerant, so I wanted to actually ensure that we make a vegan meal out of it, which I think if you guys have been in the industry, you must know vegan protein sources have a very strong aftertaste. It definitely does not ensure that you have a very good feeling, mouth feel after it. So that's why the entire journey took a bit longer, but I think we came out with a very good product and we kept iterating as and when we got customer feedbacks. But I think, yeah, it's been a good journey so far. We've started reaching a lot more people. But yeah, that's how I put my understanding of where I wanted to be with this particular product or a particular brand. And
Our first iteration of the product was ready back in August 2019. So we started working on this somewhere around April, May 2019, and first iteration came out within 3, 4 months. And we were very clear we are going after whole muscle texture. And based on the feedback that we were receiving, we did a first consumer tasting event in November 2020. And that was version 2. And still we had to further improve it. Having said that, one thing that we were very clear was we wanted to follow the similar footsteps which was followed by Impossible and Beyond Meat, who tied up with the restaurant partners with a co-branded approach where the awareness is getting created when the market doesn't exist. So I wouldn't say it doesn't exist. It is taking off very, very fast. It's still day zero, as you said. Uh, 45 million is supposed to be the plant-based meat market right now in India, which includes soya chunk and food service, everything, economy. But by 2030, it is expected to grow to 1.8 billion plant-based meat section. So that's a 40x growth in next 8 years that is envisaged. Uh, so when it came to restaurants, one thing we knew was we did not understand how it works once you have sold the product. So our approach was we tied up with one restaurant for first 4 months, only one restaurant. We had our production unit running. Our team was getting trained on how to produce the batch after batch in a consistent way. And after 4 months of understanding what and all can go wrong in a restaurant setting, we started approaching the other restaurant partners. So at this moment, I think we have around 40 plus evolved menu items in India, and we are in 6 cities. So that happened over a period.
got it. So I think you didn't go to the consumers directly, but took a route where you wanted to create awareness and then maybe move towards more branded products.
Yeah, I mean, consumer space is very romantic to think of. Like we come from a very different background, and we are capitalizing on what we know. And it's a route that has been already established, so we're following through.
Got it. So I think great. Ankush, would you want to go next just to take us through your first 100 customers?
Uh, yeah, so I think the first biggest challenge was for us to explain to people that it's not goat milk, it's oat milk. You know, where we went with our sample, the first thing like goat milk, so they all thought it is still animal milk. So even within my friends and family and relatives, they were like, yeah, this tastes good. We didn't know goat milk tastes like this. So it took a time for us to tell them it's plant based, it's something called oat, and then oh, it's oat. So So that took a while. In fact, coincidentally, one of our first people we went and sampled was Just Be. I remember walking up to Nata sir and Nidhi ma'am and saying, please. We got some good feedback from them, and we went to all Horeca people, like Pradeep mentioned, because co-branding was an easy way to go. We don't have the muscle to really go and spend money, neither money nor muscle. So you use somebody else's muscle, right? So sell the product to them in such a way that they end up co-branding. And so we did that with Hati Kapi, Coffee Mechanics, Milano Ice Cream. But the only problem is that they're not all vegan, right? So they do it for 2 days in a week or once in a week. Only one day in a week, Milano Ice Cream launches a vegan almond ice cream. So we are fine. I mean, we have to agree to disagree as long as the product is going out. So even today, I think very low understanding of oat milk is there in the market. I'm sure everybody here knows, but if you go out, they still don't know. They know soy milk because it's been around for a while, 2 decades. They know almond milk because they can't buy it; it's too costly. So they've seen it on the shelves, but ये बहुत महंगा है. That's the immediate reaction. Oat milk has to kind of cut in between the two, somewhere between soy milk and almond milk. So far, we have been able to do that. I mean, right now, our pricing and whatever schemes we are running, we are actually priced at lower than soy milk, Amazon and Vegano and other places. So that is our eventual goal to end up being lower than soy milk in terms of price. That's when we'll actually be able to move the needle. Till then, we are just, I think, raising funds and kidding around. To really move the needle, we'll have to, like I think Akshay showed, it's all about taste and price. So if you're not able to get the taste and if you're not able to get the price, you're not going to be able to make the impact. So I think we got that right. We got the taste right after 3, 4 trials and multiple Horeca samplings. We got the price right through burning holes. Right now we are still burning holes. So that's how we're getting the price right. Um, but yeah, I think the customers are ready for a product like this because health suddenly has picked up priority, especially after COVID. Everybody has lost somebody near and dear to them because of immunity issues. So I think COVID worked for us. It's very sad to say that, but COVID worked for us in a way. I'm sure COVID is going to work for a lot of plant-based brands now that the focus is back on health, on immunity, and yeah, I think something like that.
Got it. So just wanted to understand, as you spoke about pricing, right? Do you think people, when there needs to be a mass adoption, do they compare it to how much 1 liter of say cow's milk costs over an oat milk per se? And do you think that delta is what's not uh, like maybe getting us the mass adoption that would be necessary?
Yeah, that definitely happens. The immediate comparison is 1 लीटर नंदिनी का दूध 40 रुपए में आता है 45 रुपए में आता है. What is this? So that's when we got all these feedbacks from Just Be and so many cafes, Hati Kapi and all, and we decided not to do 1 liter packaging. So we came in a 200 ml packaging because the idea is first to drive adoption. Adoption will create the market will create a word of mouth, and then you have brand ambassadors who are your customers. So you don't really need to spend on marketing as long as you get hold of good audience who end up becoming a brand ambassador. So if they like OT or if they like made from plants, Ronak, my friend, is here. If they like that, they're going to just speak about it, tag them or whatever, and it's going to be free marketing to people who are loyal to your brand. So yeah, I think price is definitely will always remain in India's mentality. So we'll have to beat that somehow. It definitely helped that we partnered closely with a couple of people from Europe who helped us with the formulation, and I had a few friends who pitched in and got us at a decent, economical kind of a thing. So that helped us drive the price down. So I had a bit of help from outside.
Got it. I think, yeah, that was one very stark question I had, and I've been thinking over that. And I think, yeah, you've partly answered it. You need to drive awareness and knowledge before you try to drive mass adoption. So, I think, Guru, would you like to take us through your journey with your first 100 consumers?
Yeah, sure. And for us, we were trying to position an ingredient, right? Tempo was already out there. We were trying to find what's the right way to introduce this to the market. And we went B2B, B2C day one. We had it like we sold it as a big blog to the chef in the restaurant saying, he tried cooking with it, and we sold it as cubes and marinated cubes to the consumer to make adoption easier for a food that nobody knew about, right? And that's why we went marinated, because that was our first challenge, because as soon as we started marketing or talking to people, we realized that the insight or the need is there. Like the moment you say vegetarian, another protein option, a lot of people do resonate with that and say they want to try it. But then the thing becomes, you've never had tempeh before in your life. Now, if you don't cook it the right way, you're going to blame tempeh, you're not going to blame yourself. Doesn't hold true for a lot of other things because you have some reference point in your head. That's why B2B becomes important, because you get an opportunity to taste it made by someone who really knows how to make things, and that's where our learning was the marinated SKU came in. Makes it easier for you to, yeah, I don't know what tempeh is, I know what tawa masala is. Like let me easier to easier to adopt. But then challenge one was how do you use it, right? And that's, I think, maybe on, like, the people here agree with me that with I feel like with the new plant-based industry, like getting people to try is one thing, getting they might even like it, but then is it going to become a staple, repeat adoption to a point where it becomes a habit? Cracking that is a much bigger challenge, even among the audience who bought it. Leave like the audience who are yet to buy it, right? That's one thing. The second thing that was the main thing, and that we continually work towards that day in day out. We think about how to make this idiot proof, how to make cooking this foolproof, right? Because it's an ingredient. It's not grab and go. It's not something you take and bite and eat. It's an ingredient that we're getting try people to adopt. So it kind of have to tell them you need to give it a chance, give it a second chance. It's an acquired taste. So that was one challenge that we're constantly working through. On the B2B side, the challenges are very interesting, because like I'm sure he would have gone through it, which is up until that trial phase, you're doing all the work in a restaurant where you're reaching out, you're setting up time, you're sending chefs in, they're cooking, and so they're all very happy. It moves along very fast. As soon as you do your trial, leaves a product for sample, now the ball is in their court. And once the ball is in the restaurant's court, it can go really, really slow, because nobody's like sitting on the table banging, going, "Hey, where's my plant-based meat, or where's my tempeh?" And then it's not about just inserting it as a line item in 100-line menu. It's about how do you then highlight it? How do you get people to actually order it? At the end of the day, it needs to work as a business for the restaurant. It needs to turn, the ingredients needs to turn, it needs to generate revenue for the restaurant. And then for brands in this space, all that onus falls on the brand. And the third challenge in the B2B space would be, this doesn't come from restaurants. Unfortunately, a lot of vegetarians in India look like vegan food and say, "Oh, not for me." And like it's a very mental thing. And a result of this is restaurants have vegan menus, which is good, which is for the vegans to find what they want easily. But a side effect of that is a vegan menu is something that only vegans look at in most restaurants. A lot of vegetarians don't look at that. They treat that just like how they treat a non-vegetarian part of the menu. That's the sad truth. And as a challenge for someone trying to position an ingredient, trying to say that it's not about the people who bought in. Yes, tempeh is great for them, but what we're trying to do is get vegetarians, non-vegetarians to kind of adopt this, and to get restaurateurs to think around that and kind of say, hey, this is not like a side note on the menu for that guy who comes in saying, I won't eat egg. Like that's how the way a lot of people view this whole thing is in itself a challenge. As well.
So actually, to sum it up, I think we've had these wonderful panelists to actually talk about their journeys in this space. I definitely want, or maybe with my personal experience, I've always made a lot of mistakes before getting it right. But I definitely suggest you guys that please definitely invest some time in getting, or maybe approaching the right mentor, because a lot of things, a lot of challenges that we faced as a company, as a smaller company initially, were solved by, or maybe we were navigated in the right direction by our mentors. And I think because we know they've done that in the past, right? And they have some experience that has seen them through the journey, and that's something that I used to underplay it initially, but I know the importance of it right now, and especially in a space where we are just about to start off and the awareness is just very minimal. I think there'll be multifolds of challenges that are going to come in, and they are also going to be partly be resolved by your core insights that you have, because you need to understand the problem that you're trying to solve in the first place, and at the same time having the right direction, because there are 100 things that a founder needs to do on a daily basis. So ensuring that what are the things that you're actually focusing on needs to be in the right place. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for being a part of our discussion.